Hi, this is Marius from Trademate, and today I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the Trademate core product. Once you enter Trademate, the first thing you'll see is your dashboard. This gives you an overview of how you're performing overall. You can see your total fund growth, your profits, your average ROI per bet, and your total number of trades. We use the words trades and bet interchangeably. You can also see a breakdown of how you're performing at different bookmakers, how much turnover you've settled in total, and how many trades you currently got open. We also show a graphic overview of how you've been performing versus your expected value. Next, to get started, you'll click the top right corner, you'll head over to My Bookmakers, and here you can add a bookmaker. So as you can see, I already have a bunch of bookmakers added, and to add a new one, you go into this list, you look up, for instance, Unibet. Next, you enter how much starting balance you have in that bookmaker, and you select a currency. What you also want to do is to adjust your bet sizing. We use something called the Kelly Criterion, which is a proportional staking strategy to determine how much money you should bet on each game. So there's a separate video that covers how the Kelly Criterion works and how we apply it. So you can find it on our YouTube channel. The standard setting is low risk 30%, which I'm using myself, and that's what I would recommend using. And you can also select whether or not you want to have decimal or American odds and your main currency. Save any changes you make, and now you're ready to set up a preset. So the next step is to head over to the trade feed, and here you can see an overview of all the bets that are currently on. So I'm going to set up a new preset for Unibet, where I click here now. You can name it whatever you want, so let's just keep it at my new preset. You can select the bookmakers which you want to add to this preset. So I'll go ahead and add Unibet. You can also select whether you only want to see certain sports, whether you want to filter on different parameters. So for instance, I want to cap my odds range at 5 because for higher odds ranges, so it takes a longer time for the variance to even out. The odds is the inverse of the probability of that outcome. So for instance, a 2 in odds is the equivalent of a 50% chance that that team will win, while if you bet on 10 in odds, then you can only expect that team to win 1 out of every 10 times. So I want to keep my variance down a bit, so I cap my odd size here at 5. Next, you want to change your edge percentage. I typically set it at 1% to just remove those edges that are very slim. I open it up to 100%, and then I want to place my trades relatively close to kickoff, because then the markets are more settled. There's less swings because the odds fluctuates all the way until the game starts. You can also choose whether or not you want to see recommended leagues only or all leagues. This is a very rough filter on leagues based on the market liquidity for those leagues. For instance, the Premier League is a high liquidity market, while the Brazilian second division is a low liquidity market. So why is this important? It's important because all the way until the game kicks off, the odds will fluctuate, and recommended leagues will be less volatile. So if you place an edge at 5% a couple of hours before the kickoff, it is more likely that that will remain an edge at the time the game kicks off. Well, if you do that in the Brazilian second division, the probability of the edge remaining an edge at the time of kickoff is lower. Okay, so after you've registered a trade, you can remove all trades on that match if you want to keep your variance down, which I do, so I typically use that setting. The alternative is to remove that particular trade. So let's say I placed a bet on Manchester United to score over 2.5 goals. If I maybe want to see if an edge pops up on Manchester United to win, I can remove the over-under edge from the feed, but keep that game still in case an edge pops up on a Manchester United win, or I can just keep it in the trade feed. Okay, so once I'm happy, I'll click Add Preset, and then I'm done. Next, I'm going to show you how to place a trade at a bookmaker and register it with Trademate. So as you can see, there's an edge here in the feed on Copenhagen versus Ludogorets. Next, we'll head over to Bet365. We'll look up the edge here. It is Ludogorets at 4.75. We'll place the bet of $15. As you can see, the recommended stake size is there. And next we'll go back to Trademate and enter the amount we bet and register the trade, and now it's done. After you register the trade, you can head over to My Trades to have a look at the current trades that you have that are open. So as you can see here, I got 7 games open right now. And once the game finishes, we'll get the results, and you can see an overview of all the games and bets and trades and everything that you placed so far, going back all the way to the beginning. So what you'll be able to see is the result, how much you netted. You can see the difference between the edge you placed at and the edge at the time the game kicks off. As a sports trader, we want to place bets that beat the Pinnacle wig-free closing line, which is what we use as a yardstick to determine whether or not your betting will be profitable in the long term. So there are a couple of articles about the closing line and why it's so important for sports traders over at our blog, so I recommend you check it out.